Pursuant to Standing Order 1083F, study of the review, 1083F, study of the official language policies and programs in the main estimates 2010-2011 of the Department of Canadian Heritage. We have the pleasure of hearing from the Honourable James Moore, Minister of Canadian Heritage and Official Languages. He is accompanied by the Deputy Minister, Ms. Larocque. Welcome to the Official Languages Committee, and Mr. Sobrino, Assistant Deputy Minister for Strategic Policy Planning and Corporate Affairs. So with no further delay, Minister, you can make your opening comments. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And members of the committee, it is a pleasure for me to be here today. With me are Judith Larocque, Deputy Minister of Canadian Heritage, and Pablo Sobrino, Assistant Deputy Minister, Strategic Policy, Planning and Corporate Affairs at Canadian Heritage. I would like to greet the new members of the committee today, Mr. Maurice Bélanger, Mr. Généreux, who will soon be here, and John Weston. And I would also like to thank the committee for inviting me here today to give an update on the official languages file. The timing couldn't be better. We are in the middle of the Rendezvous de la Francophonie, a wonderful opportunity for dialogue and celebration that we are proud to support and that brings together Canadians from every part of the country. Today, I would like to reiterate our government's priorities regarding official languages, present an update on the implementation of the roadmap for Canada's linguistic duality, and discuss our government's ongoing support for community organizations across Canada. But first, allow me to say a few words about the Olympic Winter Games that recently ended and the Paralympic Games that are currently taking place, or rather that just ended. The role of the French language and culture in the context of the Games has been a priority for our government from day one. I'm proud to say the Government of Canada made record levels of investment to ensure that both of our country's official languages were incorporated into all aspects of the Games,
featuring approximately 650 live performances, over one-third of which were by Francophone artists. The Olympic and Paralympic torch relays, all 15 Olympic venues and every single Olympic site, all fully bilingual, servicing Canadians and visitors in the official language of their choice. The Olympic and Paralympic Games are truly Canada's Games, exceeding the standards of the International Olympic Committee and, more importantly, showcasing the best of what our country has to offer in both official languages. This feeling was echoed by senior officials at the Games. The Commissioner of Official Languages, for instance, said that he was, quote, impressed by the level of bilingualism at the Olympic Games and, quote, pleased by the presence of French at the closing ceremonies. Monsieur Pascal Couchepin, grand témoin de la francophonie aux Jeux olympiques d'hiver de Vancouver, a affirmé.
Pascal Couchepin, grand témoin de la francophonie at the Games, said, and I quote, "The Vancouver Olympic Games have been very successfully executed. They are the games to follow in the matter of linguistic duality. It is difficult, in my opinion, to do better."
The National Olympic Committee said that he was, quote, very pleased with the success of official languages at the Games. Quote, the announcements were made in French and English and all Olympic venues and signs were bilingual, he added. Mr. Chair, well over 3 billion people from around the world turned their gaze to Canada during the Olympic Games, and I'm pleased to have been part of such an incredible moment in Canada's history. Les Canadiens qui...
Canadians who didn't have the chance to go to Vancouver and Whistler were able to follow the competitions at home in the official language of their choice, thanks to the broadcasting agreement between CTV Globe Media and its partners. I'm delighted that CTV and CPAC collaborated to present French language coverage of the Games on their stations, as well as RDS and V. The Place de la Francophonie, as well, greeted thousands of visitors and showed the people of Vancouver and the world the quality of our Francophone artists and the vitality of our communities. In addition, the young journalists who took part in Francomedia 2010, a project we supported, offered all Canadians a Francophone perspective of the Games. The community of Maillardville, the cradle of the Francophonie in British Columbia, made great strides in the last year in strengthening its cultural presence within my home province. Maillardville did us proud, not only during the Games, but also during the celebrations of the town's centenary and the Festival du Bois, an event we are proud to support. I'm proud of this community, which adds extra colour to my home province, and of the Games, which inspired enthusiasm in Canadians across the country. Regarding the opening ceremonies, we believe they were a major performance of great quality. David Atkins and his partners from VANOC did an excellent job, and I truly believe that everyone enjoyed them. I was disappointed by the level of French during the ceremonies. However, we are pleased with VANOC's work, and we can all be proud that the Vancouver Olympic Games set a new standard for bilingualism on the international scene. The promotion of our 2 official languages and the support for official language minority communities have been and will continue to be priorities for our government.
Bilingualism is one of the fundamental values of Canadian society. Our roadmap for Canada's linguistic duality allows us to make this vision a reality. Currently, more than 70% of the roadmap commitments announced in June 2008 have been confirmed and funded. Also, in the budget, our government maintained our record level of funding for CBC Radio-Canada. This will allow them to continue performing the important work that they do in minority language communities from across the country. Mes homologues des provinces et territoires.
My provincial and territorial counterparts play a key role in achieving our objectives. I will be meeting with them at the upcoming Ministerial Conference on the Canadian Francophonie in Yellowknife on June 22nd and 23rd. These sessions give us a chance to work together to support the Canadian Francophonie. Indeed, it was at the last conference in September 2009 in Vancouver that we agreed to dedicate one day of the Winter Games to the Francophonie. The Language Rights Support Program was also announced last year. As we marked the 40th anniversary of the Official Languages Act, I reiterated our government's commitment to delivering a fully operational program by the end of 2009. I am pleased to say we have delivered. The program, managed by the University of Ottawa, began its activities on December 22nd. Last fall, I also had the honour of chairing the Conference of Ministers responsible for TV5 in Ottawa. In fact, it was during Canada's term as conference chair that we announced an additional contribution of $25 million over 5 years to TV5, starting in 2009-2010. This conference was a complete success, and thanks to this additional funding, TV5 can help increase the visibility of our creative sector and our artists around the world, while reflecting the cultural diversity of La Francophonie.
As you will recall, we also identified a need to revisit our ways of doing things to meet the requirements of organizations that represent official language communities in Canada. Your committee reviewed the impact of delays in approving funding for organizations representing official language minority communities, and we met in October to discuss this issue. Our government will respond to the committee's recommendations by April 1st, but I can tell you that the measures that we are taking are producing results. Currently, we have confirmed program funding for 88% of organizations representing official language minority communities, and we hope to confirm the rest by mid-April. The other recipient organizations should receive a reply in the next few weeks. As well, changes to service standards for the program delivery will be posted on our website on April 1st. Our community partners can rest assured that we are continuing to take action to reduce red tape and streamline the process for their own benefit. In closing, I'd like to share something that made an impression on me during the Olympic Games, the ease with which our athletes and medalists express themselves in both of Canada's official languages. I witnessed this many times, and it made me incredibly proud. Our athletes acted as ambassadors on the world stage, not only athletically, but also diplomatically, and they did so in both of our official languages, representing Canadian culture with great pride. Les athlètes canadiens sont les champions.
Canadian athletes are the champions of today and the leaders of tomorrow, and I can't help feeling that the future of our official languages looks extremely bright. Thank you, and I'm ready to answer your questions.
Thank you, Minister. It looks like you just break one of a record of the swiftness of your opening remarks, so we can get already started with Mr. Damour. Monsieur Damour.
Merci.